In this episode, we're looking at conserving the environment. All right, let's switch over and look at what conserve means. So from dictionary.com, conserve here, it's when used with a verb, it means one, to prevent injury or decay, to prevent waste or loss of, to conserve your strength for a race. Conserve. Entry number 2, to use or manage natural resources wisely, to preserve or to save. For example, to conserve the woodlands. All right, let's go back now. So, conserving the environment here is the topic. And it says, at the end of this week's lesson, you will be able to justify the importance of conserving the natural environment. Explain the need for and the importance of conserving living things and the environment to sustain balance in the ecosystem. Complete at least 4 of the 8 activities at the Learning Center. Environmentalists are concerned about conserving the ecosystems. These are communities where living organisms interact with each other as well as the physical environment. The species depend on each other for survival. Therefore, to conserve the life of living organisms, there must be a balance in the ecosystem. In addition, the availability of non-living things such as water, air, and soil provide needed resources for the living organisms. So let's talk about this a little bit. So take, for example, a bird. A bird needs the air, which is non-living. It needs the nutrients from the soil, non-living, to help the plant to grow, which is now a living thing, so that it can feed on the fruits that are provided by that plant. And there has to be a balance so that the plant can get all the things it needs so that the bird, it can live, and that the bird can benefit from it being in its ecosystem. Environmental conservation is the activity that allows humans to maintain and sustain the environment. It prevents the extinction of species and the depletion of non-living things in the environment. So let's go back in a little bit more. Yes, this is as far as we can go. So it says here, we must live and treat the environment in such a way that we are not providing cause for the extinction of species. Okay, so animals shouldn't go extinct because of our activities. And depletion, no, depletion has to do with the removal of the non-living things in the ecosystem. So we can have bauxite, for example, and bauxite ore could be depleted. We could have, other things that are beneficial, and we use it in such a way that there's very little of it left, so it would be depleted. In order to sustain a balance in the ecosystem, the following are some strategies that should be in place. 1. Introduce predators to prevent a single species from overpopulating the ecosystem, because it will affect the food chain and lead to the extinction of other species. Now, there are a series of videos on Australia and the impact that rabbits have had there, because the rabbits take over and they eat off all the grass and they damage the crops and so on. And because of that, other things that depended on the natural plant life there, they are going to have a hard time to survive because of the introduction of this animal, the rabbit, in their ecosystem. It was not there before. It was introduced, and it is creating a problem for them. 2. Recover forested areas, that is, replant trees to increase rainfall. This will benefit agriculture. So, you know, reforestation. So wherever we had plants before, you know, we can put them back. Deforestation can disturb habitats of species and lead to an unbalanced ecosystem. We can next, 3, create fish sanctuaries so that young fish are allowed to reach maturity and be able to reproduce. Fishing is not allowed in fish sanctuaries because overfishing can result in an unbalanced ecosystem. So there are some places, you know, off the coast of Jamaica where baby fish in mangrove areas, baby fish can go in there and hide from the bigger fish and from fishermen who would try to catch them. All right. And in these fish sanctuaries, they are allowed to develop to the point where they could reproduce to make more. It says, plant windbreaks. Number 4, plant windbreaks to stop or slow wind from blowing away the topsoil. Now, you wouldn't believe, but wind is one of the agents of erosion. Yes, just like water. We can have areas where wind blows so strong that it can blow away the topsoil. So that's why the soil needs to be covered. If soil is left uncovered, it is exposed to rain and water in such a way that it can cause the removal of the topsoil, or wind can help to remove it as well. So having grass to cover the soil, you know, that's the first step in protecting it. Here, 5, pluck snails that eat immature coral reefs. This will allow the coral reef to reach maturity so that they provide food for more species as well as protect the coastlines. So we know that the snails here, the sea snails, can have an impact on the coral reef. So we try to control that particular impact so there can be balance in that particular ecosystem. Manage solid waste. So our garbage and so on, we need to be careful how we dispose of those things. So we need to bag and bin and, you know, reduce, reuse, recycle, rethink our approach to solid waste. Here we say number 7, so using some of those R's we mentioned before, recycle, reuse, and reduce everything that is possible. 8, make compost heap from food scraps and avoid the use of fertilizers and chemicals. So compost, we can use the vegetable peelings from the kitchen, put it in a special container and cover it with soil and allow it to break down. And over time, we could use that compost now to make, you know, the soil fertile. So instead of using the chemical fertilizers, we can use the compost, which is natural, and that will have a better effect on the soil than using chemicals. Next one. 9, inflate tires to extend the life of the tires. Motor vehicles use less fuel when the tires are properly inflated. So all of us who ride bicycles will know that when you're trying to ride a bicycle, you want to make sure that the tire is properly inflated, because if the tire is soft, it takes a much longer time to get to where you're going because you have to go slower, right? And you have to use more energy, okay? So this will decrease the amount of fossil fuels burnt to power motor vehicles. Let's look at some of these diagrams here. Figure 1 shows some reasons for conserving the natural environment for future generations. So here, why? This is the key concept here. Why we should conserve? Because it does what? Increase food security. So if we don't take care of the soil, how are we going to get food to eat? Food security, having the opportunity to grow and continue to grow food for a very long period of time. Preserve natural watersheds, good. Improve health and slow global warming, okay? It says here, name 4 natural ecosystems. Discuss living and non-living things that interact in these ecosystems. Explore, access the internet, and download videos on conserving the environment, and explain how figure 2, and you need to write beside each of the numbers a method for conserving the living and non-living things in the colored circle. So here we go. Coral reefs, 1. Again, we could remove the sea, the slug, right? Not slug, the sea snail, right? That can damage them. 2, we could engage in a type of fishing that does not include dynamite, because that could damage the reef. Again, reduce the amount of carbon dioxide that gets into the water, because the carbonic acid there, or acids in general, can lead to coral bleaching. Tires, make sure that they are properly inflated. We can reuse them too. Yes, we could use them for gardening. So when a tire, the thread is worn to the point where I said, no, you can't drive on this anymore, because you need, tires with good threads to hold on to the road. We don't want them slipping and sliding. When those tires are finished, we could put them in the yard, fill them with soil, and, start our backyard garden. Why we want to fill them with soil? We don't want the water to settle inside of the tire, and then we have a problem with mosquitoes and dengue and all the diseases that can result from that. Food scraps, of course we can use that, and we can make our compost and so on. Fish sanctuaries, make sure that we're not overfishing, make sure that our fishing techniques are safe. We're not using dynamite or anything that can damage the reef and so on. It says here, download and view some images of fish sanctuaries and create a carousel of these images. All right, let's wrap up now. It says evaluate, complete at least 4 of the activities at the learning centers. Faye Ellington Center, it says create a bookmark on each, include a method and justification for conserving the environment. The self-link Dr. Agri Irons Center, make a journal entry expressing your views on sustaining a balance in the ecosystem. The picture link from the Edna Manley Center, identify an aspect of environmental degradation in your community, and decide on a method that you can use to play your part in conserving the environment. Design a model, or let's see, that same link. Yes, it says, okay. Design a model or device that may allow, design a model or device that you may use to alleviate this problem. For example, a garbage house on the school compound or a garbage receptacle at home. That's a good idea. Rex Nettleford Center, make a model of the device that you designed to alleviate the environmental degradation in your environment. For example, a garbage house on the school compound or a garbage receptacle at home. So you could make a model of that. Finally, Numberlink Albert Einstein Center, give the dimensions of the device that you designed to address the environmental degradation in your environment. For example, give the length, the width, and the height. Now it asks this question: what is the capacity of your device? So let me go with this now. To find capacity, you need to multiply, and this is related to volume. Another way of saying the capacity to volume. This is found by multiplying the length of the thing by the width, and finally by the height. All right, guys, do these activities. Take care, and I'll see you in the next episode.